Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining me to celebrate 25 years of Embroidery Garden. I can't believe that it's been 25 years since I opened up my business. And yes, I did open it up on April 1st, no fooling. So thanks for joining me. I already see a lot of familiar names coming in. I truly appreciate you being here. And kind of what I'm going to do today is we're going to take a little walk down memory lane. We're going to talk about the early years of Embroidery Garden, hit some of the highlights, things that I feel were really special to me over the last 25 years, things that happened that I'm just extremely proud of. So let's see. I see Deidre's here. I see Renee's here. Teresa, Deidre, Allison, Bobby. Carolyn, thanks so much for joining me. I do really appreciate it. And there are going to be giveaways today. I think I got about half a dozen giveaways. One of them is going to be a $250 gift card to Embroidery Garden. So go ahead and you can start typing in #garden, just like it appears above me. Make sure it's exactly the same way. And you only need to type it in one time. The program is running behind. It's gathering up all of these. And when it comes time, we'll go ahead and we'll pick the winners. If you do win, you do need to send me an email at support@embroiderygarden.com to claim your prize. So, yep, here I see all those #gardens coming in. Um, so, hi, Stephanie. Thanks for joining me. Again, I do see tons of familiar faces, and I am just so happy to have you here with me today. So, yeah, 25 years. I bought an embroidery machine on a whim. Probably, well, it's been longer than 25 years, probably about 29 years, maybe even 30 years ago, I bought my first embroidery machine. Just walked into a store, actually had to have my sewing machine repaired, and I saw an embroidery machine. And by the time my sewing machine was ready to be picked up, I go back and I just said, I'll take it. I want it. And I bought everything. I bought the software, I bought supplies, the machine, and that's how my business started. The dealer told me, you can create your own designs. And that's what really hooked me. That was something that I wanted to do. But it took me, some years to learn software, etc. But I did it, so started in my basement. And actually, I'm still in my basement. My studio has always been downstairs in our homes that we've had, but this one that I'm in now is probably it is the best place that I've ever had to sew. So thanks to my husband for that. All right, I see some more comments coming in. Those #gardens. A lot more people. I see Cindy, I saw Zita, I see Phil, Roxanne, Jasmine, and a lot of you I know have been with me for basically the whole 25 years. And that's just amazing to me that people have stuck with me for so, so long. So I thought it would be fun to kind of go back, talk about the early years. I was able to find some photos of the website. There's a page on the internet called the Wayback Machine. And so I was able to go to that site and capture some early Embroidery Garden website photos. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pull up a PowerPoint that I'm going to kind of talk through. Let me get it everything set up here. Okay, there we go. So if you're just joining, it is the 25th anniversary of Embroidery Garden today, no fooling, April 1st, back in 2001. I am going to do giveaways, and I've got a sale going on, and it's the sale I don't have too often. So I'll give you those details here in just a little bit. So I used that Wayback Machine website and found some early photos of Embroidery Garden milestones.com. Hi, Bonnie. Thanks so much for joining me. Bonnie is another person that I met, and so happy to have met her and worked with her. And so many people I see are coming in that I know and have worked with. So the photo there on the left, that is what Embroidery Garden's website looked like at the very beginning. The earliest photo I could find of it, this is from September of 2003. So the website was a little over 2 years old back then. Notice I called it the Embroidery Garden back then. Don't ask me why, but I did. And, eventually I dropped the off of it and it was just Embroidery Garden. But this website was built by our oldest son, David, probably when he was about 17 years old. After I kind of learned my software and I made some designs, I wanted to try and sell them. And I asked him if he could build me a website, and he did. And this is what it was way back then. And you can see on the right-hand side, that photo, I did simple appliques is what I started with. I didn't start within the hoop. In the hoop actually was not really there at the time. I think there were some little things going on. Some people had done some things that were considered to be in the hoop, but it wasn't anything like it is today. And so I just thought it'd be kind of fun to go back and look at how the website started out. So ancient times, that's basically what it was back then. There were no frills, there were no bells and whistles back then. There was no instant download back then. I don't think anyone really had instant download 25 years ago. So what I had to do was I would get an order. I get an email, I had an order. People couldn't download, so they had to be emailed out. So I had to email people's orders to them, or sometimes I put them on a floppy disk if that's what people wanted and mailed them to them. But I had to keep records because there was no order history or anything. So I had to keep records of things. And so I started keeping sales journals. That's what I called them. And it really was an Excel sheet. And I'd have to put in the date, the name of the person who bought something, their email address, what they bought, and what else? I think that was about it. But I had these sheets, and I did that for almost 12 years. Can you believe it? Every single order I had to keep track of, and it had to be emailed out. And we all know how email is. Sometimes people, it would get blocked, it wouldn't get there. So there's a lot of back and forth, but that's kind of how it was back then. Also, my instructions, there were no photos in the instructions back then. They were just Word documents with text. So things have come a long way since, those very beginning days. And a lot of you probably recall Yahoo groups. Back then, there was no Facebook. It's kind of hard to believe there wasn't Facebook at some point since we're all so used to it. But back then, there was not Facebook. People were using Yahoo groups. And I know a lot of you remember Yahoo groups. And actually, the first Yahoo group I joined was So Forum. And come to find out years and years later, So Forum was owned by by allbrands.com. And later on, many, many years since then, I formed a great relationship and did lots of events, etc., with All Brands. So I kind of thought that was kind of funny how that happened. But then I formed my own Yahoo group, and I started it on February 28th of 2003. So that photo down there where you see kind of the blue lines, I know it's hard to see, but that was the oldest photo I could get. And that is from, I believe it's either June or July of 2003. And I had 734 followers back then. And if you also were part of the Yahoo group, you remember I gave away a free design every month. And I did that for probably close to 13 years. Yeah, that was a long time. That picture there of that lily, I think that is the very first free design I gave away. If it's not the very first free design, then it was one of the very early ones. So I thought that was kind of fun. And I see Lady Saint says she belonged to So Forum way back when. Yeah, it was like the biggest thing around back then. It was great actually. People could post their questions about embroidery, how to do things. It was where you would go to get information. Googling for it was kind of a little bit hard back then. Patty says she was probably one of the first. Yeah, and then afterwards, when Facebook came along, then I tried to get everyone from Yahoo, my Yahoo group, over to Facebook. All right, so then let me kind of look here. So I want to go over highlights, things that happened during my career that really made a difference or were things that I am extremely proud of. I kind of feel lucky in a lot of ways. There were a lot of things that happened to me over the years that I feel I was in the right place at the right time, or I met the right person, and it caused a snowball effect of other things to happen. So, I want to go over a few of the highlights. So, during this time from, when I first started to, we're going to go to September 2009, I'm just working on my designs. That's basically all I'm doing. I'm working on designs. I'm building my website. I'm engaging with people, just kind of trying to build my business. September 09, I created my Facebook page, Embroidery Garden on Facebook. And it was my kids that got me to do it. I was, Facebook was, I don't know if it was new, but all the kids were on it. I wasn't on it. And the kids were like, Mom, you got to get on Facebook. We can talk. We can send little pictures to each other, blah, blah. So I got on Facebook. And then my kids were like, Mom, you got to put your business on Facebook, start a page. So I did it. I mean, it took my kids to push me to do that. And right now, my followers on the Facebook page, I'm close to 105,000 followers. That's something that I would never have imagined, that I could have that many people wanting to follow me to know what I'm doing, to see what I'm putting out and stuff. Let's see. So then, again, I'm just working on my designs, putting things out. In 2012, I wrote my first article for Designs and Machine Embroidery Magazine. I had talked with Dime before that. Eileen's sister, Marie Zeno, had done articles for the magazine on some of my designs. She had used them in the magazine. And, the first time I saw one of my designs in a magazine, I went nuts. I subscribed my mom to the magazine. She would lay them out on the coffee table, if I had an article in there, etc. So that was very exciting back then. And that's back then. Eileen was the editor, but there was also someone else. The lady's name was Denise. And she was who I talked to back then, when they would want me to write an article or etc. And Denise was the one who actually taught me how to write an article, and which really helped me later on because I would go on to write things for other companies, etc. And when I would submit it, they would be like, wow, you're really organized. This is great. You got a great outline. You got all these points and stuff. And it's because I had learned it from Denise. So I'm really happy, that I had done that way back then. And now, it's just kind of a little bit second nature to be able to, write a blog post or, an article for something. I went on to write, I think, a total of 6 articles for the magazine. And I'm trying to think. I have them all listed somewhere, all the different ones that I wrote. But I mean, every time, you open up the mail and, you knew if your article was going to be in there or not. And again, it was always so exciting. And I have those magazines still to this day, kind of tucked away. So after that, let's see, now we're going to go, and we're about in July of 2013. And that's when I started the Facebook group. It seemed like everyone who was doing, what I was doing, or just any company, they kind of all had a group. So I started the Facebook group back in July of 2013. And right now I've got close to 62,000 members. And if you're not in the group, it's all about, Embroidery Garden designs. People post, their finished projects. They ask questions. Ideas get tossed around. It's just a fun little community that focuses on Embroidery Garden designs. And I see Terry says she misses the Dime magazine. It was always a fun resource. I do too. Everything went digital, but there are some, great memories. And I know some people kept, a lot of the magazines that they had subscribed to that went with, machine embroidery, et cetera, or whatever they were into. Let's see. I think I skipped a slide there. Or I did something. I got so much stuff. So much stuff is over the top of what you guys are seeing that it's hard for me to see it. So in 2015, this was the first time I was contacted by a store to teach. And it was pretty exciting for me. Now, I had taught at an event prior to that. I don't remember the dates, but it was the Indiana Embroidery Conference. And I remember, I think I did some little owl appliques. And that was the actual first teaching that I ever did. I was also a vendor at the Indiana Embroidery Conference. And that's where I met my bestie, Molly. Molly Madison from Molly Made Designs. That's where I met her. And we became friends. And we are still friends to this day. So I am just so happy that I did that and that I got that experience, that little taste of teaching back then. But 2015, I was contacted by Willits, who they are a Janome store in McKinney, Texas. I believe they are out of business now, but they were the first ones to contact me. And they wanted to do an event where I was kind of the star of the event, if you want to use that word. But people went to this event and they rotated around in classes. And this was the first actual time, that I will say I was teaching, even though I had done that other event. This seemed like the biggest thing I had done. It was very exciting for me. Had a great time down in McKinney. And after that event, and let me get to the next slide here, I started getting contacted by more dealers. And I remember it was just a few weeks after I did that event, I believe it was Moore's in Kentucky that contacted me and wanted me to come there and teach. And then I think it was Pins and Needles from Ohio that contacted me, and I did an event there. And that was 2015. So I taught 3 times, and I liked it. It was fun. It was really a lot of fun. 20, let's see. Again, I've got things over top of what I'm looking at, but it was in the fall or early winter when I got contacted by Blaine Austin, who at the time was working for allbrands.com. And he called and he wanted me to do an event. And, I had never seen him, never heard of All Brands. Um, and I knew when I was talking to him, he picked up on the fact that I was a little bit nervous. And so he's, okay, we're going to do this big event. You're going to be teaching. He goes, if you make you feel a little more comfortable, I've got a couple of women that I know that they'll come in and they can do demos in between your projects to kind of give you a break. He goes, I got Angela Wolf and Joanne Banco. And, I thought, okay, that sounds good. Give me a little break, have some other things going on. And I agreed to do this event the following year. And when I got off the phone, I started Googling. And I Google Angela Wolf. I'm looking up All Brands. I'm looking up Joanne Banco. And I'm like, oh my gosh, these people, Joanne and Angela, they are superstars. I mean, Angela is, national spokesperson for Brother. She's the brand ambassador. You got Joanne as a brand ambassador. They're doing all these articles. They are sewing stars. They're superstars. They're on It's So Easy TV. And, I'm sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, what am I getting myself into? But it was fantastic. And here I wanted to show you, this was my first All Brands event that was in Sulphur, Louisiana. And that top picture, this is what I walk into. We had 150 machines. There was one person to a machine. They were dream machines. They were personas. They were tin needles. And people, after each project, rotated around so they got to use these different machines. Also during this time, or prior to this time, I had met people online, through my business, etc. And, they were friends and I, would talk to them, regularly. We all met up. Well, it wasn't at this one, I'll say. It was at the next one that we all met up. I'll talk about that one in just a second because I saw Carrie come on here. And I do want to mention that when I get to the next event. And Laserby Studio, it was Kelly and Sharon. They were at this event. But look what I walked into. I was scared to death. Those two things you see up there about mid-screen, those are jumbotrons. You look out, there's all these people. Everything was up on a stage. That little blue area, that little blue rectangle that you see in there, that is me up there demoing a quick little In the Hoop project before it starts. And you can barely see Blaine over there. He had a camera focused down on what I was doing. And there it is up on the Jumbotron. You can see the arm of the embroidery machine. I was at some point stitching this design. But there were lights, there was music. I remember when they introduced me. I think I kind of tripped going up the stairs a little bit. It was mind blowing. I mean, this was huge, and I met so many people there. And once we got started, I felt so at ease. And having Angela there and Joanne there was fantastic. They were just so kind to me. And I mean, the first time I'm meeting them, the picture down on the bottom left, that's me with Angela. Of course, you see Angela with their big banner. The middle picture, that's me, Blaine and Angela. And then the one on the right at the bottom is me with Joanne. And I remember Joanne had a boot on her foot. She had done something, I can't remember what, might have sprained her ankle or something, but she had that boot on her the entire time. And, there was just so many fun things that happened. I want to tell a little story about Angela. Um, During, the event, you do projects and then, you have a little break, so you can get up, stretch, walk around, look at the merchandise for sale, etc. Well, Angela went into the bathroom and she had her mic on still. And, so going around, the sound in there, you can hear Angela and she dropped her phone in the toilet. She's trying to fish it out and stuff, and you could hear all this going on. And so, someone had to run in there and tell her, to turn her mic off. Angela's told this story numerous times, so I know that she wouldn't mind me repeating it. But it, there's just so many things that happen at events that are just hilarious and so much fun. But that event went so great that all brands did 2 more exactly like this. And let's see if not yet, I'm gonna stay on this slide. So then they wanted to do, let's see, next was Baton Rouge. And again, it was just like this, huge event, stage, banners, music, lights, all of this, and 1 person on a machine. And this is where these friends of mine that I had been talking to online, we all met up. It was in Baton Rouge, and it was the perfect place to be. That's where Rhonda Seacrest from A Stitch in Time Designs, uh, I met her in person there. Carrie Cunningham from Endless Designs by Carrie was there. Our friend Lisa, who just lives in Louisiana, but who has become a huge supporter of mine. Caroline Booth, who does the virtual classes now through my website. She was there. I believe Molly was there. Again, we had Angela and Joanne there, and it was just a great, great time. Then we did it again in the fall in San Antonio, exact same program. And, doing this, and let me get to this next slide here. Doing this, these events, especially that first one, is what launched my teaching and my traveling across the country. So I owe a lot to Blaine for believing in me and, kind of just kicking this in gear here. During that very first event in Sulphur, I get there and stuff, and Blaine says, "Oh, by the way, one of my friends who, owns a store in Sacramento has flown out here and they're going to watch you teach to see if they want you to come and teach at their store." And, talk about, oh, just throw some more pressure on me. But it worked out great. It was Jennifer from Meisner's, and that led me to going to Sacramento and teaching for like 1 week every year. So, there were so many things that just kind of happened, snowballed, and, again, being lucky and being in the right place at the right time. So, starting then, really in 2016, that was when, again, this teaching really took off for me. And I spent probably the next 3 years teaching and traveling extensively. Every year there would just be more and more events added. And there got to be so many events added that I hired 3 educators to help me. And there were at times all 4 of us were out teaching somewhere. Um, and so I was gone, I would say half of the weekends of the year teaching. Um, I met so many people, went to so many stores, made so many lasting friendships. I remember the first time I went to Sacramento to teach, a good friend of ours, Michelle, who lives in San Diego, flew up to Sacramento to meet me to come to my class. And, we're still friends today, talk, everything. So I mean, it's these lasting friendships that I built. And at some of these events, there would be people who would travel from far away. They either would have to fly or spend, a whole day driving to come to one of my classes. And to me, that was just amazing. And, so appreciative of these people that would do this, and they wouldn't just go to one event. Oh, you're going to be in North Carolina. I'll come down there and see you too. And some of these events we were doing the same projects at, but they didn't care. They still came and supported me. And I can't thank everyone enough. I didn't want to cry, but so I did get to teach at so many stores and had so many experiences. Meisner's. I would teach 3 2-day back-to-back events. I'd spend a week in California teaching, and they would all be sold out. And it was just amazing. My friend Amy Bachman, Sew and Quilt. I've taught for her numerous times. As soon as I walked into Amy's event, the very first time I did it, I knew we were going to be friends because Amy is just great. And then All Brands, of course, that really started everything. I ended up going to teach probably 3 times a year for All Brands at one of their different stores. Sewing Machines Plus, you know, when Blaine left All Brands and went to Sewing Machines Plus, I started teaching at Sewing Machines Plus. Whenever I was in California, then I'd hit Authorized Back and Sew in Fresno. Quality Sewing, up in Washington State, beautiful area. I would spend time up there and go to several of their stores and teach while I was there in the area. Have to ride the ferry to the different stores. So lots of fun memories there. Mall Queens. I remember we did a huge event with Mall Queens in Arizona. And just last year, I went back to one of their stores and taught. There's Somewhere Sewing, beautiful Amish country in Ohio. Just so I can't even list all of the stores that I taught at. It was just so much fun, so many wonderful experiences. All right, the next slide. So 2018. So starting I believe it was 2017, actually, I had started to be invited to the Brother Convention. And the convention is where, they launch, it's for the dealers, they launch all of their new products every year. And I went there as a vendor. That's how I would how I would book new events and stuff. But in 2018, the book, Embroidery Garden's My Design Center book, was published by Brother International. And it featured 6 of my original designs that were created in My Design Center. If you don't know what My Design Center is, it came out when the Dream Machine came out. And it's a way of digitizing on the machine. And, it's a great feature. And they approached me and asked me to write a book. So, I mean, that was a huge highlight for me. It's hard to say, the feelings that I had, when I did this. And I am going to switch the screen here a moment. This is going to be one of the giveaways. Let me switch the screen. See if I can here. Let me remove this. Whoops. Let's see if I can get. All right, I got to make this bigger. All right, there we go. So this is the book that I wrote that Brother published. And even when I went to Mall Queens this past fall, we were talking about this book. It's been out of print for a while now because of all the advances in My Design Center. But just kind of flipping through it here. I went through how to do all these projects, showed you screen by screen of how to do them. And it even has a little USB stick in the back. Here's the back of it. And now this is my copy, but I have one that's never been opened. It is the last one that I have. This is going to be one of the giveaways. I'm going to do all the giveaways at the end. It'll be easier for me. But if you have a dream machine, it's still very relevant. When the book came out, it wasn't that much longer that Luminaire came out. Now, they did make changes in the features of My Design Center, but the book was still relevant. You could still use it. Now with the Avenir out, you'd really need to be familiar with My Design Center to be able to do the projects, to follow along, since all of the changes that have been made within, My Design Center. So, I'm going to say this is more of a piece of memorabilia. Okay. I remember going to events, people getting the books, signing the books, which was kind of, fun for me, something that, I had never done before or anything. But yeah, this was a big highlight for me, a huge highlight for me, actually. And so let's see, I'm going to look to see some comments before we go on with some other things. Tammy says that it's cool to have that book as a giveaway. Yeah, it is the last one that is still packaged. Some dealers might have them. I don't know. Let's see. It's cool to have an autographed copy of the book. Yeah, there were some. Terry, hi Terry, thanks for joining me. The book would still be relevant for us, for those who own the Dream Machine. Yes, it would be. Thanks, Judy, for the 25th anniversary wishes. Yeah, if you're just joining, yeah, this whole thing is a walk down memory lane as I celebrate 25 years in business. So I'm going to go back to the slideshow here and let me move things out. So let's see. Yeah. So the book was a huge highlight of mine. It was 2018. And also what happened in 2018. So I told you that I had started being invited to the brother conventions to book events. And during 2018, when I was at the convention, Joanne Banco was there. And she wanted to introduce me to the producers of It's So Easy TV. So we go over there to her, and her name is Kathy, and I start talking with Kathy. And Kathy was, hey, we'd really like you to come and film some episodes for It's So Easy TV. And my first thought was, no, I can't. That's too much. Being on TV, we'll have to film till midnight. I won't be able to do it. I'll be way, way, way too nervous. And I declined. And just because I was too scared. A few months later, Kathy contacted me again and said, we'd really like you to film some episodes of It's So Easy. And I thought to myself, if I say no again, they're probably never going to contact me anymore. And if I don't do it, how do I know I can't do it or that it won't turn out good or something? So I agreed to do it. And first filming was in February of 2019. And, here are a couple of pictures. That top one is a picture of me on the set of It's So Easy doing the first project. I did a zipper bag with the cork overlay. A lot of you have probably seen that project. The bottom left, that's me getting my makeup on. So kind of the setup to film was you arrived the day before. You went into the studio, you got everything laid out, how you're going to do it. and just got prepared. The next day was filming day, and you would film 2 segments. And you had to get there early to get your makeup on. They didn't do your hair, you had to do your hair, but they did your makeup. And I remember as I was getting my makeup on, I'm thinking, "Oh, this is kind of a lot," and the girl that was doing the makeup, she was kind of picking up on that a little bit, and she goes, "Well, these are actual TV studio lights, and, if you don't wear lipstick, your lips are gonna, fade out. If you don't have, the eye makeup on, you're gonna look like, you don't have any eyes and stuff." So, I said, "Okay, great." And, so I got my makeup done, and I believe I was first up to film that day. So you go into the actual set of It's So Easy, and they mic you up, and I remember having a microphone in my ear, and the producer saying, "Okay, we might kind of quietly talk to you a little bit while you're doing it. Maybe say something like, move your left hand over, or, stretch it out a little bit, those type of things." And that kind of made me a little bit nervous because I thought, "Oh, they're going to be talking to me and I'm going to screw up or something." But everything went great. I mean, it is a little daunting to be in there, to have all the light shining down on you, to have a big boom come down in your face, to film you and to pick up your voice and stuff. And I remember I didn't hear one word from them in my mic. Everything went perfect. It was so much fun. And, if I hadn't done it, I never would have known, how much fun that it was. And Joanne Banco was there that day. She was filming. So that's the picture of me and Joanne there after we had gotten our makeup done that day. And I went on to film 6 more segments for It's So Easy TV. Now, it's not being produced anymore, but you still can go to YouTube to It's So Easy and watch all of their episodes from, over the years and stuff. But had that not been for Joanne Banco, I never would have, had that experience. So, I'm really thankful for Joanne. Joanne, ever since I met Joanne, she has been a cheerleader for me. And, that has been so appreciated and stuff by Joanne. I mean, I just love her to death. Okay, and then 2019 was also the first time I taught on a cruise with Sew and Sail Cruise. And I'm trying to think, we had a huge crowd there. I'm thinking it was about 100 people we had. Um, on that first cruise, and that first cruise was with Gloria Horn. And I know a lot of people here did that you guys were on that cruise. Um, but I taught 3 cruises, a little blurb, sneak peek. There's going to be another one in 2027. And I put some information up on Embroidery Garden's Facebook page already about it. So if you're looking to go on a cruise and check it out. Sew and Sail there are 3 total cruises, I think, so far. They kind of all do them in the beginning of the year. So check out their 2027 schedule. After that, excuse me. Oh, Molly, I hope you can go in 2027. Hope, 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 hope. Actually, in 27, the cruise is going to go out of Cape Canaveral. We're going to swing over to Key West, swing back over to Bimini, go to, oh, I can't remember. I don't know if we're going to go to Bahamas, but I know we're going to go to the Grand Cayman, Cozumel, and back to Cape Canaveral. So it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun. All right. So also in 2019, I got contacted by Eileen Roche of Designs and Machine Embroidery again. I had spoken to her, over the years prior to this, but in 2019, she contacted me and wanted to do a design collaboration. And the design collaboration we did was the Garden Flower Lace Collection. And, that was another huge highlight for me, to be working with one of the industry's greats on a project. Again, I was over the moon and I was just so happy and pleased with how the collection turned out. Um, it was a great seller at the beginning, and it's still a good seller. And it's still available at embroiderygarden.com. It's a lot of lace flowers. Um, and I think you can see the picture of me. And I used to have it available in a kit with thread. And then here's the card back here. It's inside the box to download the collection. And this is going to be a giveaway. This is also the last one of these. So it's like I'm giving away all the highlights during this live. And again, the giveaways will be at the end of this. I'm not going to be going much longer, but we'll do all the giveaways at the end. It makes it easier for me. And I went on then to do 3 more collections with Eileen. We did the hand sketch florals, which is a beautiful floral collection with a real light, wispy look. Then we did the matching hand sketch floral borders. And then we did the Bon Voyage collection, which is a collection of kind of like travel designs. So, all this is going on during these years. I'm traveling, I'm, meeting people, I'm firming up business relationships, just having a blast, just working my tail off basically too. Then COVID hits. 2020, let's see, the beginning of 2020. So everything I think shut down in March of 2020. I was probably booked for all of 2020, basically, at the beginning of the year. And when COVID hit, we started, I was talking to dealers and we started trying to move the events, further, into the fall and, late summer like that, thinking, oh, this is going to blow over, we'll just kind of postpone these events a little bit. Well, that didn't happen. Basically, I didn't really start getting back into doing events even until 2024. Now, I had done some things, but a lot of things were virtual during that time. One thing that I can say, let me grab a drink of water. If anything good came of COVID, for me, it made me kind of stop, slow down, and think a little bit about, my business and what was going on and stuff. Like I had said earlier, I had spent probably those 4 years prior to COVID, just event after event after event after event. And, I loved it. I loved every minute of it. But it then kind of started to make me think maybe I need to focus in a different direction, a different way instead of, all of the events. So since 2024, let's see, I'm trying to think, 2024, I can't really remember events that I did, but I know I did some. Last year, I know I did a cruise. I went to Mall Queens, went to All Brands in San Antonio. Watch for another All Brands San Antonio coming up here late summer. Just another little sneak peek, throwing that out there to you. Things will be announced soon for that. But, I think maybe 4 last year. And that's probably going to be about my limit of what I do now for traveling and teaching. I'm just kind of cutting it back. So then another highlight that I had in 2021 was Brother contacted me to create a design bundle to be offered to dealers as an incentive with Luminaire purchases. And, this was just huge for me. I mean, that a company that size wanted my designs to be bundled up to be offered with sales of their machines. I still have the little card that, had all the announcement on it and stuff. Um, Not all dealers got this. Um, w- what an incentive is it's things that, like a company offers to the dealers for them to use as an incentive for people to buy machines. Excuse me, for example, luggage, um, bundles of stabilizer, et cetera, et cetera. And dealers pick and choose, things that they want if they want to, have any incentives. And one of the incentives was the bundle of Embroidery Garden designs. And again, it was something huge for me, personally in my career that, they wanted my designs. And believe you can still get this bundle if your dealer offers it, um, because this thing has to be downloaded off of my website through a code and all this stuff. But I still see these codes come through weekly, so I know people are still. Some people are still getting it. Some dealers still have these bundles, so that was really big for me. Then February 2025. So, again with Designs and Machine Embroidery. I am so happy to have met Eileen and to have met her team and, her business partner at the time, Gary. Um, to have been involved with these people and to work with these people and to have collaborated with these people. I mean, it really has been a true highlight. Now, in the Hoop Designer software came out last year, in February. So it's only really been out, what, maybe 14 months. But the story behind the software is when I was doing all that teaching and traveling, people would, of course, ask me questions. And one of the big questions was, how can I do what you do? How can I create designs? Um, and that's a very hard question to answer. And, during this time, I thought, maybe I'll write a book, and then I started thinking, well, how can you really show someone or tell someone how to create things, through a book? And, but I kept this idea bouncing around in my head for, a few years. And once I had started working with designs and machine embroidery and becoming familiar with some of their software, I started thinking, why can't there be a software that will show people how to create in the hoop designs? And I thought about it for a while and I kept the idea to myself for a while. And I thought, I'm going to take it to Eileen and Gary and see what they think. What's the worst that can happen? They're going to say no or whatever. So I presented it to them and they loved the idea. The problem was, okay, how are we going to do this though? I mean, how are you going to create a software that's going to show people how to create their own in the hoop designs? And so it took a little bit of time, a little work going back and forth with everyone to figure out how we were going to do it. And I actually think it was Ashley Jones, their lead educator, who came up with the idea of having the wizard inside. And once we got that and I started doing the templates, everything just started falling in place. And it happened. And I have to say that probably being involved in co-developing embroidery software was that had to be the biggest highlight of my career. I never would have thought the 30 years ago when I bought a machine that I would have been involved in something like that. So that is something I'm very, very proud of. And I am so happy too that there are so many people who have got the software and and are using it and absolutely love it. And I see the comments coming in now. Love the software. Really like in the hoop. Gives you so much confidence. Um, let's see. This one encouraged Linda to keep encouraged her so much to keep on trying and using the hoops. Uh, Eileen and I helped her fill up her sewing room. It's these kind of comments that, have just, made everything so worthwhile. Um, let's see. Esther, will there be an in-loop webinar so I can buy the other software? Um, you know, I sell a lot of the Dime software on my website. If you wanted to go there and check it out, there's a tab at the top that says software. And Susan says, it's an amazing how an impulse purchase changed your lives and my lives. Yes. If I had not walked to that store and saw that machine stitching, I probably never would have gotten an embroidery machine. And Patty Joe, PJ, she says, my directions are the best. Thank you so much. PJ is involved in the sew and sale cruises, and she can provide you with lots of information about any of the upcoming sew and sale cruises that are happening. I know there's a Designs by Juju cruise that's happening that's very popular. So all you have to do is check that out. Jill was someone I got to meet at a retreat with Stephanie. So happy to have met Jill. Stephanie, I met Stephanie through an event with All Brands. I met so many people through the All Brands events, and my friends at All Brands are going to be giving a $100 gift card to allbrands.com. I'm doing these giveaways soon. Just make sure that you get your hashtag garden in there, because we're going to do them here like real soon. So another celebration, Embroidery Garden's having a sale that I don't have too often. I'm having that 50% off sale. All you have to do is apply the code HAPPY25 at checkout. And the code is good for any non-sale item. That means an item that is not already on sale. It's at regular price. That code, HAPPY25, takes 50% off. It's through April 6th, and it doesn't matter if you put it in capitals like it shows there or if it's in lowercase. Doesn't matter. So remember to go and get what you want to get from embroiderygarden.com at 50% off. Let's see, there was something else. Okay, the giveaways. I'm going to start doing giveaways. So the giveaways that I have, Karen LaMandola, who is a software educator, is giving away a one-on-one 30-minute software lesson. This will be over Zoom. There are many software programs that she is educated in that she can teach you. And even let's say you don't have a software, maybe there's a software you're interested in. She can tell you all about it, and you guys can make a decision if something is, works for you. I'm giving away a $250 gift certificate to Embroidery Garden. So if you win that and use the code for the 50% off sale, you basically got $500 of Embroidery Garden products. My friends at allbrands.com have given me a $100 gift card to give away at their website, allbrands.com. I'm giving away that project book. Excuse me, that my design center project book. I'm giving away the garden flower lace collection with the thread kit, and I'm going to give away a copy of In the Hoop Designer software. My gosh, that is just I think that's a lot of stuff to help celebrate Embroidery Garden's 25 years. I still cannot believe it's 25 years. Let's see what we got here. Of course, you can follow me on social media. If you don't follow me on Facebook, I have Embroidery Garden's Facebook page. And if you go to the page, what you see at the bottom of the screen on the right there, that's what's going to be on the page. So you know it's the page. It's that green rectangle. There's my profile picture. Also have the group. You can join Embroidery Gardens in the Hoop Facebook group, where you can post all of those Embroidery Garden projects that you make. I'm also on Instagram, and of course, I have a YouTube channel. And congratulations, Tammy says, for 25 years and many, many more to come. That's funny. I was thinking earlier today, a lot of people say, congratulations on 25 years and here's to 25 more. Well, I don't think there's going to be 25 more. I'm not going to be doing this in the 90s, but there's certainly going to be some more years of Embroidery Garden. So let's go ahead and let's start off getting these giveaways given away. So first, let me get rid of that. All right, I'm going to make me big. And now I'm going to go and grab that giveaway tool. Last chance to type #garden, just like you see above me. And let me find the thing. Hold on, I got to find it. Where is it? Share screen. There we go. All right, let me find the giveaway. Here we go. Okay, so the first giveaway is going to be the software lesson from Karen LaMandola. And here we go. Remember, you win one of these giveaways, you have to email me at support@embroiderygarden.com to claim it. Esther Fernandez, you are the winner of Karen's 30-minute software lesson. All right, so the next one is the $250 gift card to embroiderygarden.com. Here we go. The winner for the $250 gift card to Embroidery Garden is, I need a drum roll, Melinda Payne. That name sounds familiar to me. Remember, support@embroiderygarden.com. Shoot me that email. The next prize is the $100 gift card to allbrands.com. So big thanks to my friends at All Brands. And the winner of the All Brands card is Bet Cooley. So thanks, Bet, for participating. Send me that email. The next thing is the My Design Center book. It could be the last copy in the world, so you better hang on to it. And the winner of the My Design Center book is Carolyn McConley, or Carolyn Conley. Just writing this down. Remember, send me that and send me your shipping address because this will be shipped to you. All right. The next giveaway is for the Garden Flower. Yeah, the Garden Flower Lace collection with the thread kit. So that is another thing that will be shipped to you. So the winner needs to email me with their shipping address, support@embroiderygarden.com. And the winner of the Garden Flower Lace collection, Jan Grubel. Okay, congrats to you. The last giveaway is for In the Hoop Designer software. Let me go ahead and draw for that. This will not be shipped to you. This is sort of a download thing. So the winner of In the Hoop Designer software is Barb H. I'll write this down, Barb H3250. Send me that email. And let's get back to, let's see, let me get back to the thing over here. Here we go. There I am. So I want to thank everyone for joining me today on, my walk down memory lane, helping me to reminisce and celebrate 25 years. Again, I can't believe it. Again, each one of you is truly appreciated. It's been a blast these 25 years. I can't wait to see what the next years bring. Congrats to the winners of the giveaways. Remember, send me an email at support@embroiderygarden.com. And, be sure to follow my page. Follow me on Instagram, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and join the In the Hoop Facebook group. Again, thanks everyone. You're all truly appreciated. See you next time. Bye.